Hello and welcome back to the second tutorial for Battles of Napoleon by SSI. Here we have the Dosbox screen. I figured I'll just show how I've got my file structure set up um, yeah, so you guys can see how to run the game. I unfortunately, due to YouTube restrictions, can't show you how to get the game, but if you do a little bit of digging, you'll find it. So we'll mount that there, switch the drive that we're currently operating in to C, and then go start. And then I want to do press 2 for the enhanced graphics adapter, and then 1 for the standard mouse. Okay, I'm going to Alt-Tab over and search for... Okay, so the word I'm looking for is when. This is the DRM of past days, where to show you owned it, you had to own the manual. Well, the manual's available online. So, haha. Okay, my numpad looks like this. Yours probably does too. Let's play a scenario. We're gonna play the Borodino scenario. The last tutorial was not structured. This tutorial is going to be even less structured. It's just going to be sort of me playing through the game, detailing what I'm doing, and explaining the decisions I've made. So we're going to make the allies the computer, although it would be fun to play as them in this. No special directive. And sound on, of course. The lovely, lovely sound. So we covered all of this in the last tutorial. If you haven't watched that, go watch it before you watch this, because I'm going to be moving a little bit fast if you haven't watched that. Okay. I'm just going to exit right out of that because I don't really mess with leaders. If someone can explain to me why I should care about leaders in the comments, that'd be great, because I just haven't figured out a reason to care. We will set our objective back there, and then the cavalry objective can be there, and then we'll exit and get on going. Okay, let's review. So these guys in the readout, see, there's the readout there. They have artillery that we do not want to get shot by, because they've got the high ground. They do a lot of damage. So they've got a line of sight that covers our side of the bank of the river, so we'll take fire if we stand still. But they also have control of this field that is the most obvious approach. So we don't want to go through there. But there is a nice path all along there that we can take. And so I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to move my first men forward. Oop. He's going to be in danger there, isn't he? Let's check. Oh, no, he's fine. Okay, we're good, we're good. Just misremembering the map. You'll be checking line of sights quite a bit on this one. Okay, so that is open. Okay, so all of our infantry there, those guys are safe. And we don't have to double time them at all. Yeah, and you can double time by pressing X. Basically what that does is it makes you more tired and gives you operational points. So it's good if you have to get somewhere fast, but you can't do it. It's not sustainable to do a whole lot. We just move these infantry up. They're not really going to be in danger here. We're just trying to keep them progressing forward. Okay. Let's check with these guys are. They've got those are musket cavalry. Those are essentially dragoons, which ends up being a little bit important for charges and whatnot. But we're not going to charge here for a while. I tried to show how to charge early in the last tutorial. And I showed how to charge, but the cavalry didn't charge, which is actually quite common, just because they have to do checks of their own. But in this game, we're going to be trying to actually do successful charges. So this is horse cavalry. Okay. Now, last thing to do is to set up our artillery firing on their artillery, their readout position. The goal here is to get, over the course of the game, just a cannon or two down. Taking a few, because there's, we'll see. See, here we've got 8 guns. So if we can take out even one gun, we reduce their strength by 8 approximately. I think that's what I'm guessing how many guns they have over there. They might have 16, but regardless, there's not that many guns present. So if you can take out one, you can really reduce casualties when you close in. Without further ado, we'll start combat. Okay. Nothing too dramatic there. I'm not going to save the game. Okay, this is now their turn. They're moving, but we also get a fire, which is nice. Yes, we got a wounded. So they have, I wounded one of their leaders, so he is out. I think wounded is essentially the same as killed, if I'm not mistaken. So they don't get those leader bonuses anymore. So they're going to have way worse morale, which is really going to matter because we are going to be trying to get them to just fold and completely run off the readout when we get back there. But speaking of the readout, onward, men. En avance. We got a nice little conga line going along the bank of the river here. Oop, we don't want him there. Let's check if that's safe. Yeah, he's safe. Safe and sound. But this back corner here is not safe, so we want to keep our guys away from that. Because as we saw last tutorial, if you get hit at close range by that artillery, you can kiss goodbye to those units. They are not going to be effective. You've got 1 or 2 hits before they're completely devastated. So once you cross the river, you really want to be careful about where you're putting your units on this one. This scenario is unique in the kind of, I don't want to call it cheese that's going on here, but there is really a right way and a wrong way to do it, where usually the scenarios are a little bit more open-ended, where this one really involves and really pushes you to going around the back end, fighting for the back end, and then moving up onto the readout. Let's see what would happen if he turned to face this way. So we have some safe space there and here, even if he's looking this way. So let's see if we can move our cavalry up. Yes, we can.
we'll see if we can get our artillery in this little safe zone, and I might set it up so if I've got operational points. Nope, I can't set it up, so that's all right, because I might want to move it up a little bit further just so we can get a nice fighting base down here going for my cavalry. But I believe that's everyone moved. Let's make sure. Yep, they're still firing here. I might have this guy just kind of do some probing shots on these infantry because they've got a good angle, but everyone else will just keep firing on the readout. That's what happens when... Okay. This guy will give us support when our infantry gets into battle back here. Actually, he can right now. He'll light that guy up. All right, let's see how it gets resolved. Okay. What I'm looking for is guns going down. I really want a gun to go down. Yeah, there we go. 46 men. There we go. We're doing damage. They're doing damage, but we're also doing damage. Oh, he got one of my guns to retreat. That's not good. So I'll be able to recover them and set them back up, ostensibly, but they're going to be weaker now because their morale's been pretty damaged. So we're doing some decent damage. Oh, there we go. They got a gun. Yeah, that unit's in rough shape. And they're just getting lit up. It's not great. Could be worse. So we've taken out 2% of their forces. They've taken out 1% of ours. Let's see what the casualties here are. Cavalry, nothing's happened. Artillery, we've lost 2% of our guns. Again, we have way more artillery in our defense, but yeah. And that, you usually will have 1 or 2 retreating artillery in a battle, in this battle. But usually they can last a little bit longer. But no dice here. Again, this is a new turn. So this is the start of the second turn. There's 2 phases for each turn. And each phase has a French phase and an Allied phase. So I'm just going to continue exiting the leader phase. I like my objectives still. Let's double check this. Yeah, he does not have much line of sight at all. So I think what I'm going to try and do, usually I'll send kind of a screen out here. But with that artillery keeping them at bay, let's see what this guy can hit. So he won't be much help. But this gun alone can, if they get any closer and they try and get down here and cut us off there, this gun will punish them for that. So what I'm going to try and do is just use these line of sight gaps and like anaconda myself all the way around, get infantry all readied up all the way to here, and then we charge in and we melee them. Fix bayonets. And the annoying thing is you can't send your units just one back. Like if you've made a move and you run out of operational points and you can't end in that square, you have to press Z to send them all the way back and redo the move. So, I mean, movement in this game is quite easy with the numpad. I know you're probably thinking, oh no, this is the most outdated thing ever. It's usable. Trust me. Let's see. So that guy is not looking at our infantry right now. So we can move. Once you get the hang of the numpad controls, they're really quite nice. But there's a few kind of button combos that you have to get good at in order to have a fun time with this. Also, I didn't explain skirmishers because I'm not quite certain how exactly they work, but skirmishers are, in the Napoleonic era, you think of, there's the line infantry standing shoulder to shoulder shooting. But you also had light infantry who were generally better shots, and they fought in kind of a more dispersed, they would fight in woods or even just in a field out in front of the line infantry before folding back into the line infantry. Skirmishers are kind of how this game represents its that concept. And you can bring them out. So this is a light infantry regiment. And it's got 887 men and 887 skirmishers. So that means every one of them is a skirmisher. I haven't figured out any downside to bringing out skirmishers, because even when you get into melee, they just fall back into the line formation. So it's just kind of an annoying thing of the game that you have to remember to bring out your skirmishers if you want to be playing optimally. So we're going to do that for all these frontline guys. It does take opportunity or operational points, but I've got a few to spare here, but I don't think it really affects movement. Again, I might be wrong. Please correct me. There's very few discussions of this game online, so I'm learning it just as the same as you are. But yeah, I haven't figured out any downsides to bringing out skirmishers. Maybe one day I'll find it, and then I'll have to issue a YouTube apology and break out the tiers. Cavalry still needs moved. So I think now my saber guys out front. Let's see if they see a line infantry, but just a single one that's pretty good. And then we are going to press S to get to the formation, and then I'm going to unlimber all these guns here. It's a nice forward position. I'm going to set this guy to countercharge and this guy to countercharge for time being, just because artillery out like this is very vulnerable to artillery charges, or cavalry charges, not artillery charges. But the cavalry can hopefully interfere with any charges that come their way. Infantry is almost laughably bad against artillery, because I think it models grape shot, if I'm not mistaken. Just the casualties that you take sometimes are close to 100% when you get right up next to an artillery thing. Since the artillery goes first before melee, there isn't that sense of like, oh, you closed the distance and got over into their trenches, and are now disrupting the artillery fire. Like, the artillery gets to shoot at you before you move into those trenches. So it's, if you can avoid infantry on infantry, or infantry on artillery fighting, that's best. But I think we are, let's see how many. I don't think these guys are going to be able to fire. Artillery is pretty finicky, but let's give it a try. So, again, looking for guns here, looking for guns. Everyone pray for me. Okay, nice. Got some 23 guys out. So yeah, I'm guessing these guys in the top left are gonna Oh, we're in a little bit of fire combat here, which is good. Oh no, this is a disaster. Oh no. Oh my god. We just got cavalry charged. And that might be... I'm still... I'll play this game through. Ammo blown up. We've gotten unlucky here. I should have kept one of those guys in square, but... Yep. Our light infantry has been eliminated completely. And I think you guys saw those casualties. The cavalry charge system's devastating, and now we've got these men running through. Luckily, the cavalry got disrupted enough that they are retreating, but that sets us back essentially a turn. Let's hope that these guys are a bit better disciplined, because the infantry, what can happen is when infantry are getting charged, there's 3 decisions that they can make. They can say, am I going to form a square or not? I guess there's 2 decisions. There's, am I going to form a square? And if they don't decide on that, they go to the second decision. They say, am I going to hold my ground or not? They hold their ground, they just enter melee combat with the cavalry, which can be devastating, it can be bad, and you can end up retreating, but you do way more damage to the cavalry that way, and there's less of a like cascading effect there. If they don't decide to hold ground, the cavalry essentially gets a special like attack in that charge phase that sometimes can take out your whole regiment. So, preemptively holding squares is an important kind of... You can't remove... You're very immobile with the squares, so that's why I sort of was like, well, I don't want to throw up a square here. I don't see any cavalry. But putting a square up by pressing S, and then I think it's 4, it should be listed relatively clearly in the game, is important. And in fact, let's see if we can do that right now. Yes, I can. So see, press 3 when you're in the formation thing. Oh, he can't. I think it's because he's moved already. So these guys are going to be... I'm going to have 2 of them fire on this cavalry. And I'm just going to do a quick saber charge onto these guys. I just want to be disrupting, like drawing the cavalry away from my infantry onto this lower side, so we can get these guys caterpillared around, and then we can strike. Okay, we got countercharged. Let's see how the cannon fire reacts to that. Oh, there we go. Our cannons still attacked them. Okay, our second artillery retreats. Still have not gotten a single gun down, which is not good. Nice, we forced them to retreat, and we held. Our cavalry is pretty disciplined there. Or even if your cavalry does hold, they are going to kind of fall back in an open formation, so you're going to have to reset them. But it's much better than retreating in disorder. That's not good. Oh, yeah, so we got a point-blank shot off of those cavalry. I don't know if they're going to melee us, though. Okay, so they've got a little artillery. Oh, wow. Our artillery held their own against the cavalry. It's a good thing that wasn't a charge, but... Okay. What is this? This is just men. We've lost a lot of men. Cavalry, we haven't lost very many cavalry. They've lost a lot of cavalry. The artillery really helped out. The artillery held its own there. Okay. So what do we need to? We need to stop and have a breather here. We'll do it in this screen because this. So I could set a new objective, but that's not. Still, my main objective is getting these guys over here, and then these guys don't need to move quite as much once they're over there. So I'm gonna keep that objective the same, and yeah, that objective's fine too. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep everything like it is. We've got some momentum going over here, so I'm gonna send my musket cavalry to charge. We're gonna see if I can charge those open guys. And I'm gonna hold these guys in reserve, but have them counter-charging, just in case. But it looks like we've kind of gotten rid of all of their... how do you say? Their cavalry for the most part. Why can I not perform? Okay, something strange is... There we go. Okay, so there's a hidden unit up there. We're going to set this to melee. I think you need 3 operational points in order to effectively melee. I don't want to switch out of column, even though, again, we would be doing much better firing during line formation. But my priority is not taking out the infantry in these lowlands here. It's getting up here, which requires melee. Plain and simple. Let's see, these guys might have recovered by now. Yeah, they can't unlimber quite yet. We have some light infantry recovered. We'll send them back to the front, just backing us up. And okay, let's give this a go. We're in a precarious situation right now, but I think we should be able to win this if we don't have anything disastrous that occurs. Their ammo keeps getting blown up. $52. 48, yeah. Elevation really matters, guys. Their infantry is routing, which is really good. We've got the right side, or the bottom side. I don't want to say on lock because that's after the turns we've had right now. There we go. Okay, our cavalry's doing amazing. General Grouchy is the hero of the battle so far. Because we've got this nice wide open space now that we can just charge them down, and with the support of that artillery too. Oof. Let's see. I wish there was a way that you could view what the enemy units were, but beggars can't be choosers. Unfortunately. Okay. I'm going to set this guy to charge. Here. I'm going to set this guy to charge here. I'll let the cannons just keep doing their work. They're doing pretty good organically. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go into melee, and we should be able to melee attack this limbered up artillery. I'm gonna set that guy as a square though, just being cautious, because if oop, I'm gonna set this guy looking out towards those cavalry, just so in case they get charged. I'm gonna double time this guy all the way around. Oh, he can't. Okay. I'm gonna double time everyone a little bit. No, I'm not. Because they can't move. Because if you run into a hidden unit, like, you can't move any farther. There's zones of control. Again, not exactly sure how they, like, work all the time, but you're limited in how you can move directly around another unit, even if it's a very vulnerable artillery. So, but this artillery should be getting got. Okay. I'm wondering if we just ignore. How far back can this guy see? If he's. Oh, he really can't see his rear. In turn 4, we might go just all in over here, depending on how this fight between this allied regiment goes and our 2 melee regiments there, because the objective is just back there. Like, it's close. But I think what we're gonna have to do is get up these hills and just melee our way through. Okay, let's see how this. Oh, we got. I don't know when that came in. It doesn't hold your hand. You have to check if you got new units, and we got a lot of new units here. What I'm thinking I'll do with these is just send them straight across the field. So at worst, they're getting just chewed up by the cannons, and that means the cannon is facing away from me. On the other, or not me, but my primary assault troops, the cannon will be facing there, eating up these reserve troops, and then we can get a nice strike in from behind. And at best, we'll be able to just clamp this from 2 sides. But let's see how the combat resolves. Okay, so there we see the infantry formed 2 squares. Hopefully the artillery will punish them for this. Yes, okay, a little bit. Okay, that got the artillery to retreat. This is not going to be good for us, though. So now we're on the retreat. But we got their infantry to form up to squares, which means that they're a lot less mobile. These cavalry charges are brutal, man. But they work like they should. I'll say that. They're so frustrating to deal with. Okay, the allies are retreating now. That's not good for us. Okay. This is where we got to seal the deal. It's turn 4. It's the last turn. This might be a loss, and we'll do a little quick debrief if it is, see what I could have done differently. But we still have cavalry supremacy. We're still winning the fight on the bottom. But now, since they squared up on their objective, there's really no way that we're going to get to that now. I'm going to leave the objectives. I need all my movement points. So we've got one cavalry that is not, they're not going to be back in action in this game, unfortunately. Okay, we're moving in. So you press M to do melee mode. You need 3 operational points to actually melee. So just keep that in mind. I'm fatiguing my guys, unfortunately. Let's see. But we just need as many men. And this is exactly the type of situation that you want to use double time in. Oh, they're not letting me use melee. Oh, because he's the rear troop. I should have moved that guy. That was a mistake. Let's see if we can. Yeah, he doesn't have line of sight, unfortunately. Saber Cav. Oh no. No, I want you to go back. Oh shoot, I just wasted that saber cavalry. Oh shoot. Okay, we've got the musket men though here. I'm gonna put them into their normal. How many do you need? There we go, dismount. Now they're line infantry, okay. Oh, okay. So, we're in a bad spot here. But I think we can make this through with a little bit of determination on the part of our men. Can I... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there we've got our bait coming up. I think I might have missed a turn with that, with these guys too, because I think they can reach the readout by the last turn. Not sure of that. But really all there is now is to... guess we should double check that we're firing on the artillery. Fire and melee they're gonna be the same. These guys fire there, and everyone else will be automatic. Let's make sure these guys melee. I want them to get into a nice fight there. But all right, without further ado, let's resolve this. $249 men. See, that's what I'm talking about. 100 men. Same. They're gone. They're completely dead. 4 men, because that's all there is left. There was only... We just have to hope that this melee operates, because that section is just absolutely decimated. And we didn't melee for some reason. That's it. That's the game, probably. Oh, it looks like we got their artillery to... Some of their artillery has been limbered, so that's a good sign. I really don't know why we didn't melee, though. I don't know. We might have just not had enough... Might not have had enough troops. Frustrating. Why not? Why can't I move there? Okay, it's under a zone of control. That's fine. We're gonna try doing a... No. Let's see what we can do. If I move this guy here, face him there, I can do a charge up here. See if I can get them to mass retreat. But as you can see, one of the great reasons I like this game is I had a good plan. I was executing on it, and a little thing comes and trips you up. And that can be devastating if you don't account for those trips. And the trip in this instance was, if I do win this, it's despite of this. And if I lose it, it's because of it. The cavalry charges here were devastating. It delayed my attack about half a turn. Or half a turn, one phase. Because my light infantry got sent running back to France. And... That was my spearhead, and so I had less guys to fight this melee up here with. Everyone who saw that route was demoralized, and so if I were to do it again, I would be kind of leapfrogging with infantry squares and being more aggressive with getting my cavalry up here, countercharging their cavalry. But let's see how this resolves. Yeah, that's it. That's game. Yeah, if I had double timed those reserve troops, I could have maybe gotten them up for a melee too. See, here's a melee. But the Russians aren't retreating. When I've won this battle, it's been the result of a round or two of sustained melee on there. So you really have to have a lot of guys because that artillery can take out essentially one tile of troops per turn. I probably could have also held more in reserve down the hill, just kept them spread out so the casualties were not all they were not all like happening all at once, and just so I had more time for my men to rest up before the attack. But yeah, it's just, I don't want to say it's purely unfortunate, but there we go. So the Allies got a major victory. They took out a lot of our men. Those cavalry charges really did probably 90% of those casualties. So keep in mind, but it's a really tough balance, because on this map you need to be moving fast, but you also want to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's a really hard balance to strike, and so you'll maybe learn it. I haven't learned it yet, clearly. A bright spot was the cavalry. We eliminated 20% of theirs, and only 8% of ours was used. But maybe that's indicative that we should have been more aggressive with our cavalry, really making that pressing our advantage there, attacking earlier even, because we had numbers. And yeah, artillery. We lost two guns. But I mean, the picture is a bit different. Their artillery was very devastating to our infantry as well. And so their artillery was a lot more effective, even though it was way smaller, just because they had that readout that we were trying to claim. Okay, let's examine the map. So yeah, we're scattered all over here. Okay, so in retrospect, I would have done 3 things differently. 1, I would have double timed all of these guys up, so I could have gotten maybe 1 round of melee up the hill, if that had been possible. The second thing I would have done is squared here when I had troops here, and just kind of developed a nice linchpin system of squares, so even if I did get charged, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because eventually the cavalry would hit a square rather than a nice soft squishy column. The third thing I maybe could consider doing is, instead of going for that point, just really completely bypassing it, let all of these troops up here wallow away, because they might be able to kind of come down and shoot at me, pepper me up a little bit, but they aren't going to have artillery support all back here. And so you could, in theory, go around and fight a full pitch battle back here, or even on these slopes here, where you've got a little height advantage. And so those are the 3 things that I would do differently. But I hope that this tutorial let's play sort of thing has kind of given you more insights into how the game is played, and what considerations you should be taking, both tactically and strategically. And yeah, and let me know if you're able to win the battle. I've beaten it a couple times, but as you see, it's still not 100% guaranteed, and it takes a lot of practice. But yeah, I hope you guys stay tuned, and hope you're enjoying these videos so far. Thanks.